Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Welcome to our alternate future of an alternate world. And as you can see, lots have been happening. And as we know, we have an ideology map. Most is democracy. Some democracies did end up being in democratic back, but that's just cause they could. And these are the alliances. As we know, this alliance is gone, so that area is technically gone. Let you guys know, it's just still there. And then here, as you can see, this is ideologies. As we can see, there's a few juntas in this area. Communist, rare in here, but as you can see, kind of around the world. Then monarchies. And then we have two pacts, Imperial Treaty of North America, which is starting to get bad relations with the World Defense Pact. Now, as you can tell, some of the maps aren't exactly up to date. There's a bit of expansion happening to this alliance with them inviting them to join. But let's see what the first thing attention is. Well, Sudan invades Eritrea, which is raising tensions a bit, but not really doing much. Which means technically they can't join the African Defense Pact or whatever it's called, in the African League, one or the other, whatever it called it. With their invasion of Eritrea being pretty major, as it's starting to get towards the mouth of, let's say, that's the Red Sea, let's say. Ethiopia sends in some peacekeeping forces. And as you can tell, these peacekeeping forces knew what they were going to do. They were invasion forces. And this is going to be all annexed into Ethiopia. Eritrea. Sudan has expanded in Ethiopia. But eventually tensions get to an all-time high in the Americas. Specifically between this area, where Peru is making a border claim. You wanna know where? Well, Peru, Bolivia. It's just started claiming some old territory, as you can tell. They've just started claiming there. There's more disputes starting to build, but the tensions between these two groups have rapidly expanded due to the fact they want to expand. And where can they expand? Caribbean? No. That's because the Caribbean is just peaceful. And they're like, well, maybe into the Americas because they're not too strong. So eventually, a war breaks out. At first, it's called the Peru, Bolivian, Brazil War. But what Brazil doesn't realize is that they have been researching technologies for in the jungle. So yeah, America being like, yeah, we probably don't need to call in the full pact. But they didn't realize they had discovered this technology. It actually caused their underestimation. And as you can tell, it's a slow advance, but faster than it should be due to the technologies they have. But that's where the World Defense Pact mobilizes. And then they all decide to join. They are all forced into the war due to the fact the nation is being attacked. Which they weren't going to, but it came to a point where they kind of didn't have a choice. With Peru knowing this, that chances are this could go bad, they mobilized their full pact. With them having already knew that this would happen, and having not colored the full pact in. And as you can tell now, this is where the full-scale invasion is going to begin. With invasions happening in Chile, in Argentina, which really is Rio de Plata. But yeah. With Brazil being attacked in the north, It's almost as if this isn't a good scenario for Brazil. But if Brazil's starting to send a lot of people to the front. Yeah. With Brazil finally making a front line that's stable. With Louisiana starting its invasion into Canada. Yep, there is a Canada in this world. California starting its invasion of Cascadia, along with Louisiana. With Texas and Mexico and Louisiana starting an offensive into the U.S. The U.S. does want to claim a lot of this land because they once probably could have controlled it, maybe. Or they want to control it, one or the other. With all the population in Cascadia falling and Alaska being hard to invade, it pretty much stopped. With a big push towards the capital of the U.S. With them successfully taking it. But, America is demoralized at this point. And another offensive like this happens to Canada, except not as effective. Yep, I tried to say offensive, but then But Brazil, the Empire of Brazil, has another problem as it gets invaded back in the north. But they now have more troops than they need to hold it back front, so they use this to offend. And they push it back, they push the front line back pretty far and successfully. And then they move troops into Argentina to try to hold the front. And them doing this with the help of Argentina, they managed to push into Bolivia, and this is around whenever I was getting forces are being sent. And so, as you can see, it's kind of a front line that's stable. With Brazil making an offensive here. With the technologies being developed, not having a high volume of. With the American people now ready with thousands and thousands of troops, probably hundreds of thousands, and they move back and take the capital. As they move south into southern parts, they then do this. They actually take this area out. With the Cascadian forces moving down through all the islands. And even taking Vancouver Island. But yeah. So the cities have the same name in this alternative. Maybe. Depends on what happens. But I could see it. With it being a bad time for the invasion as multiple troops from all over the world. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of troops are in North and South America. Louisiana starts having problems with the joint Cascadian-Canadian invasion. With a lot of success being in this offensive into northern Louisiana, it eventually leads to this. And this is a big deal. Because it means success in the north. Which causes a success in the south. With all the extra troops coming in, they get another success in the south. A plan by Japan and the Asian allies in the World Defensive Pact is to go across the ocean and hopefully land in around Central America. As you can tell, that'd be around Mexico. But really, they're going to land in Colombia, which is what they do. In Gran Colombia. They move south and they move north. And so, as you can tell, they move south into northern Colombia. But that's about as far as this offensive gets. And I'm realizing their best bet is to try and move through here and do this. As they know, Colombia is already starting to fall. Which is bad, because Peru is working with them, I guess. Peru, Bolivia. But with this offensive being rapid, not really counterattacked, because it's hard to. But then it gets a counter offensive happens, which pushes them back up in the northern, into Costa Rica, and causes Brazil to fall back. Not out of Colombia, but yeah, basically. Now they start another offensive. With an offensive starting here. With Argentina starting an offensive as they see troops are starting to move from here north. With it basically becoming demilitarized. And so, as you can tell, with their offensives going north, with this, we're focused on South America, then we can focus on the North American fighting. And as you can tell, with Brazil kind of kicking them out, Brazil starts an offensive here, too. Because everybody wants to partition this for some reason. Everybody wants to divide what's here. Except parts won't be fully divided. But as you can see, Mexico manages to hold a stable front. And the Americans manage to push them out. Louisiana out. And California gets pushed back. With the goal of creating California, Washington. And so, as you can tell, the offensive is starting to fall back. With an offensive along crossing the Mississippi at this point. With the enter into Texas of forces. California, after getting invaded, sees that they can gain land out of invading Texas. Which is what they then do. They then join the blue team for some reason. But countries can change, I guess, what side they support. With Louisiana basically becoming not that much land, mostly vast at this point. And
as you can tell,
the invasion of Texas has begun. And an invasion from the south continues. With the Americans deciding to land here and so on, you can tell what's going on at this point. With the rest collapsing at some point, and then a peace treaty is signed. It's the Treaty of Potsdam. Yep, that's what it's going to be called, because they sign it in the Netherlands. Is it the Netherlands or is it Benelux? Yeah, it's Benelux. So let's see how the treaty goes. And then so did Canada and a lot of places. As you can see, Brazil now has 2 coasts. So, it's good for them. It's beneficial for them. And we have those nations just kind of there. California didn't lose any land. They gained land because they changed them. But, for some reason, the Communist Republic of Central Asia won't join the Comintern. And the new Comintern doesn't like this. So, the Russians kinda decide to invade. And all the new Comintern basically joins, except Italy, because there's nothing they would do. With another invasion, with it getting even bigger, because Iran decides to enter in the defense, but, nations were ready for in case this did happen. Because Iran probably wouldn't want this to happen, and doesn't. With Russia sending loads of forces in, taking key areas. The area by the sea. The area by its capital. Not capital, the capital wouldn't be up here, but a major city. And then they're just coming in over there to make a bigger front. And here we can see Iraq making its invasion along with the Caucasus. With this being like a big major event as Russia wants to annex it. As it ends up stopping being communist and changes its ideology to democracy, as it happens to become a democracy. With the invasion by Iraq taking over southern Iran, just to let you know, there's a lot of forces. And then Iran has fully mobilized. They managed to hold where they are, but they can't get any further. But Iran is also sending forces up here. With Russia having successfully went down the coast. They're going down here because there's a lot of water resources come from here. And as you can see, the Central Asian Republic is soon going to capitulate. Or not. Depends on what they decide to do, but they will fall. With the fall of Iran's capital, Iran still doesn't give up because they do have a lot of land. With the invasion pushing them back a bit more, but minor. With Iran deciding to surrender at this point and see what happens. Let's see how the treaty went. Became a puppet, and all of Central Asia was annexed into the Soviet Union, which basically is coming back. It looks like in Africa, junta and African forces are not liking each other, and democracy and communists are turning on each other. Which basically means if a next major conflict happened, chances are these two alliances would help each other in these two. But I would also say democracy has the advantage, as nations on all sides of this nation. But that means nothing because some areas are weaker. But keep in mind, there's probably nations throughout that would join either side. And that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out. But not until you subscribe. We got 200 subscribers. We have just under 200 subscribers to go till our goal of 1,600 subscribers. So please subscribe. That's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out. Bye, guys.